yeah, I'm fucking annoyed. We're just talking off cam
Hmm.
about this piece of shit that, oh, hang on. Oh, I've never got to do that before. Yeah, this fucking piece of shit microphone that I ordered, that when you plug it in, it thinks that you've got like headphones in and it acts as that. Then I can't hear anything that you're saying, which usually I'd be quite happy about. But when we're doing a podcast,
Have a little, well, okay, you can return it, but have a little fiddle with it and see if you can
yeah,
figure out why it's behaving like headphones, because it shouldn't, right?
I'll be doing some Googling.
Yeah.
But for now, actually, that's going to really
I
bug
know,
me.
I was just gonna say, I know that's gonna annoy you. While Danny's doing that, welcome back, anybody who has tuned in to watch us. Welcome to Two of a Kind, episode four. Episode
Episode
four.
4,
Episode four.
going strong.
No, I was gonna say I didn't know if we'd make it past the first one.
Did you not think we were going to make it past the first episode because we were going to break down?
Mhm.
Or did you just think that you weren't going to want to continue because you have your fixations for a little bit and then you forget about hobbies that you have?
I just thought I was gonna get bored of you.
That's fair enough. You sound like my
Yeah.
ex-boyfriends.
Okay, let's draw a line under that.
Dark humor. Dark humor. Everyone likes dark humor.
Speaking of dark humor, I have a recommendation for you.
Yeah, tell me.
I just finished this week. I watched it twice actually. I finished this show and then I watched it immediately, went back to episode one, watched it again.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire. It
Who's
is
in that?
so good. Oh, I'll tell you who's in it. This is one of the things that will make you want to watch it. The guy from Game of Thrones, the one who is with Daenerys, he's the castrated one. What's his name?
Or Grey Worm.
Grey Worm. Grey Worm's the character.
Oh, oh, he's a vampire.
He's the vampire. Well, he's the main
Ooh,
character. He's the main character.
that's cool.
And he's not even the best part of the show, in my opinion. Like he's great, but he's not the best part of the show. The guy,
Oh,
the other vampire is my favorite. It's a really good show. It's beautiful. It's well told. It's a really
mhm.
interesting story. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think I'm going to read the books now.
Oh, there's books.
Hmm. Well, this based on so it's based on a book, and then in the 90s they made a film with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
I know that one.
That's the one, Interview with the Vampire.
Because that's what I thought you were watching when you said that you were watching Interview with a Vampire or with the vampire. I don't know what, yeah.
It's with the vampire.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So people have their opinions on the film. I've never seen the film. I don't really like Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, so I can't see myself ever watching the film. But I love the TV show. You have to watch it. So that's my recommendation for today. Hmm.
I noticed you're wearing your glasses.
Hmm.
Where are the contacts gone? Not into it?
I can't. I can't. I'm such a difficult. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't get them in. And then when I do get them in, they've got like fingerprints all over them, or they've got smudge, or they've got this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Eric is tired of like hearing me being like, I get so mad because I cannot get them in.
That's interesting you say that because I've worn contacts for 4 or 5 years now, 4 years. Um, I've never had the whole fingerprint thing, and obviously I put them on my finger to put them in my eye. So I
Mm.
don't know if it's the quality of the contacts you're getting.
Maybe,
It's
maybe
not that's not a thing with the fingerprint like thing. I don't really understand that.
they were very cheap, the ones I had.
But I just think I don't look good in glasses. That's why
I have
I'm
sensory issues with wearing glasses. It really irritates
me
me.
too.
The feeling of glasses on the bridge of your nose and this, it's a
Yes.
sensory fucking nightmare. I do not know how people
Mhm.
wear glasses full time. If I'm wearing glasses for like 4 hours, I need to take them off and take a rest, even though I can't see because it's a sensory fucking nightmare. It really is.
And that's going to be the premise of today's episode. Bit of a rant about, I think we're both feeling a bit homesick. I for sure am, not going to speak for you. Um, Mainly for me, the reason I'm feeling homesick is because I keep seeing people's Instagrams or stories of like, oh, it's getting a bit cold and the leaves are falling and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I want this so bad. Um,
You're in the reverse.
we are in the reverse.
Mhm.
So yeah, me and Gabs are going to be talking about mainly a discussion about things we miss about Wales slash the UK in general, because I think a lot of mine aren't like Welsh or Wales specific.
No, they're specific to most places in probably England and Wales.
We mentioned this before. Gabs lives in Taiwan, Taipei specifically, and I live in Australia, Adelaide, which is in South Australia. The reason I moved to Australia, we have family here on our mum's side, and I actually came to visit our cousins in early 2023. February, I came to surprise my cousin on her birthday. Came for 3.5 weeks, which is a long time now that I think of it. Just, you know, running off to on a holiday when I was working full time at a call center, which we won't even get into. But yeah, went for 3 weeks. Really enjoyed my time there, despite it being so hot. Really enjoyed it. Adelaide's very small in terms of like to Australians. Adelaide is a small city. Um, yeah, I didn't really get to explore Australia when I first came for my holiday. I just explored Adelaide. Did some really fun stuff like go to Cleland, which is a wildlife park. So I got to see all the kangaroos, koalas, did the classic touristy thing, went to the beach a lot, dined out, just did some fun stuff and was like, look, I finished uni a year ago. I'm working at a full-time job that I hate. Feel kind of lost, nothing really tying me down in terms of like financially, or I was single as well. So I just thought I'll try and live there for a year. I can get, that visa because I'd already gotten, you have to get a visa just to enter Australia, just for a holiday. So I was like,
Crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. Um, so yeah, I thought I'll move to Australia for just the year, see what it's like, living with my actual cousin and some roommates, um, which was really lucky because I already had people here that I could just move straight in with. I didn't have to go and, find and make new friends. Yeah, and I've lived here for over a year now. I applied for my second visa literally a month ago, or in August, that's when it started. And yeah, so I'm going to be here for another year, and I'm a receptionist now, but I did retail previously. So
Okay.
tell us why you moved.
So I moved to Taiwan because I was bored and miserable during lockdown, like a lot of people were. And I was like spending too much time on the internet, like a lot of people. I ended up watching a couple of Taiwanese TV shows, and I was like, okay, all right, Taiwan, all right, I see you. I see you. And I was interested in Taiwan, did some research. Taiwan is like, first of all, living here, obviously now I have a different perspective. But even when I was just researching it, Taiwan is such a great country. They're incredibly socially democratic. I think they're in the top 10 most democratic countries in the world. So
Didn't know that.
they were the first Asian country to legalize gay marriage. I mean, their culture is amazing. I mean, you've got Chinese culture from mainland China, but without essentially a strict a strict oppressive government, if I can say that on the internet. So I did my research on Taiwan. I thought it was the coolest country ever. And then I started learning a little bit Chinese. I was like, this language is great. And then I had to wait a little bit because you couldn't go into Taiwan for a long time because they took COVID really, really seriously. So I had to wait until 2022. I came over and I studied Chinese for 3 months. I had the best time. I just can't describe what it felt like having this dream that I'd had for 2 years actually happen. And then it was everything I pictured it was going to be. So I had an amazing time. I came back because I only planned to come for 3 months. I came back to the UK and I was like, that's it, I'm moving. So I emigrated in 2023 and I've been here ever since. And I love it. It's everything I thought it was going to be. And it's not a perfect country. No country is, but the
Yeah.
lifestyle here is just amazing. I love it. The people are great. The food is great. We'll get on to the specifics. I'm sure we will. But yeah, and now I'm working as an English teacher, which I absolutely love. That's my waffle done.
Wasn't waffling.
Well, you know what? We both waffled. We had to. We had to get into it so people know.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to explain the reasons why, because I get that all the time. I get questioned, oh, why did you move here? And I'm like, okay, I'm from Cardiff. And then people are like, where the fuck is Cardiff? And then they're like, oh, now I realize why you moved. Like, did I ever tell you this? Sorry, this has popped into my head. I managed to fool Tash, who's my roommate, and Jared, my boyfriend. I managed to fool them into thinking that Wales didn't have Wi-Fi until like recently.
That's so stupid.
Like, I don't know where this came from that I've got this. I'm in a bit of an itch. Like, I like to prank people.
You like
It
to
gives,
lie.
I think bend the truth is what I'm going to go for. But, and I used to hate when I had a friend in uni who we're going to give her another shout out, Krishni, who
Mhm.
used to make shit up all the time, just like random facts that she would throw out there and be like, oh, I know this. And then she'd wait until I relayed the information to someone else and said, oh, did you know about this? And they'd be like, that's not true. And she'd be like laughing because she would have made up stuff because she knows I love to learn things. And she would, yeah, she preyed on the fact that anyway, and I essentially did a Krishni and said, oh, guys, did you know we didn't have Wi Fi until like 2018? And they were like, no way. And I was like, you guys are fucking idiots. Of course we did.
Can't believe that anyone would believe that.
Yeah, I know. But that was funny because, yeah,
That makes me very defensive of Wales, and I've gotten much more patriotic ever
yeah.
since I left Wales. I'm like, I have a Welsh flag like in the corner actually over
Oh,
there.
do you?
Yeah, I have a big Welsh flag.
I like that.
Maybe I should get it out. I'm gonna go get it now and put it in the background.
That'd be good. I mean, if you'd have had some forethought and foresight,
No, full thought is good. Full thought is good.
we'll go with thought. You would have
I
put that in
I've
prior.
never had forethought a time in my life. There's my Welsh flag.
Now sing the national anthem while you do that, and that would be great.
Oh, um, it,
Oh, the
it's
panic. The panic.
it's wait, do we do this? Is this it's an American thing?
No one's done that
Oh,
ever
okay, it
in
is an
the
American thing. Okay.
put that hand down. What's that about?
I know it's my hand blood for
She's actually doing it. Oh my
no, I don't
god.
know. I don't know the national anthem. Do you know
Why
what?
did
It's
you
not
go
my
for that?
fault that I don't know the national anthem because I hate sports. And if you don't like sports, then you don't know the national anthem, and everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Well, I agree and disagree because I feel like it was in school you had to do it a lot, not high school, but primary school.
I didn't do it in primary school. Maybe I missed that.
Yeah, I mean, we did switch schools, and I think our previous school that you were in for longer because Gabs is obviously much older than me, which you can obviously tell. Do
Oh God.
you remember when one of your mates asked, like, "Oh, so who's the older sister?"
No. Who was
At
that?
your, it was at your going away party when you moved to Taiwan. You had like a little gathering, a surprise party.
Oh yeah, that was nice. My best friend Jordan threw me a going away party. They completely surprised me. You helped as well, didn't you? A lot.
Not really. Look, I'm gonna let Jordan take most of the credit.
He does deserve a significant amount of the credit. That was great. They really did surprise me. I had no idea.
Yeah. I don't know who it was that said it.
Oh, was it Tabby and
I
James?
think I think it was, and she
Maybe it's
said
Tabby and
something.
James.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, so who's the oldest sister?" And I was like,
So you're very put together. You don't dress like a really young person. Do you know what I mean?
"That's rude."
How is that rude? You're very put together.
Okay,
You
that I didn't take that part. I just took that you don't dress like a young person.
I was trying not to insult young people and young women because I don't want to insult them. But you're very put together, you're very cohesive with your outfits. I would say you dress slightly more maturely, but not like an old woman, but like someone in their mid or late 20s.
Okay, thank you. You redeemed yourself.
Okay. Well, I don't have to
I
read it. I have to shut up.
I just think I'm just so youthful and Peter Pan-esque that it just like seems crazy and bizarre to me to think that I could ever be older than you.
Well, first of all, shut up. Second of all, I think that when you're in your 20s, there's not that much like
There
difference.
isn't. I'm only joking.
Yeah, well, I think that you should make that clearer because you hurt my feelings. Make me feel old.
You're not old. You look so young. You're glowing. You're dewy. You're everything under the sun.
Dewey.
Dewy. It might be pronounced the same way, but that's not what I'm saying.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. If we're talking about what we miss about Wales, do you want to do one each? You go, I go, you go, I go.
Okie dokie. I'm going to start strong with something that I know that you definitely don't have on your list
Mhm.
that's personal to me. I think we're going to obviously agree on all of these.
I agree.
This one's personal to me.
Mhm.
I miss, this is so stupid. I miss boots.
Yeah, that's not on my list, you're right.
A shock. No one who moves away from UK goes, oh, I miss boots.
I
And I'm
get
not
it.
talking about shoes.
I do get it. I do get it. Boots, the high street store from the UK, if anybody doesn't know for some reason.
Yeah, I've had to explain boots to all the Australians I've encountered because they don't have boots. And the reason I miss boots is for a multitude of reasons. Like Boots is a place where you can literally get everything. You want a sandwich and a snack, you can get it there. You want your makeup, high end and low end. We're talking like Fenty, YSL, Dior, Chanel, but also Rimmel, Maybelline. I think you can get MAC there now as well, can't you?
Mm.
I wouldn't know because I haven't been. Um, and you can also get heat like curling ones, heat stuff, sun cream. You can get fucking random stuff, candles, birthday cards. You can go upstairs. You can get photos printed, eyes tested. There's dental up there. There's baby stuff up there. There's everything all in one place.
Mhm.
And here, and I think it might be the same in lots of other countries, you have to jump around and go to different shops.
Oh, I don't know, yeah.
Like if I want high end stuff, you go to like the big department stores here. So Maya, David Jones, or like just Sephora or Mecca, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to go to Sephora or Mecca. But like for your drugstore, you have to go to Chemist Warehouse or Priceline. And they're like really overwhelming, cramped. They're just like people are everywhere. It's messy. It's just a really overstimulating in there. And you can get everything in Boots.
You can. Boots is the best.
Yeah, and I didn't think I was gonna have that much to say about it.
No, there's something that you miss when you emigrate. It's the stuff you just don't realize. It's just
Mm.
doing the things that you used to do. It's being able to just follow the patterns that you used to do because patterns are familiar, they're enjoyable, and you just can't follow those. You can't follow your habit of like, oh, I'm gonna go do all of my beauty shopping in one place, you know?
I think for someone who likes makeup and who really wants to spend time looking at makeup, it's good.
Mhm. I get it. I don't like makeup that much, and I still miss Boots.
Yeah, it's great. So good.
Mm.
What's your number one on your list?
My number one is climate. I miss the mild climate. I miss it not being too hot. I miss wearing coats and jackets, and it's too hot here all the fucking time. Miss no humidity. I just miss. It's weird because we're like British people talk so much about how much we hate the rain and the weather and stuff, but I tell you what, living in the extreme heat and humidity for a year, and I'm like, I miss the UK so much.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's hard.
because you get a lot of rain though, don't you? But humid rain.
We get it in spats, so we're in typhoon season at the moment. So you're gonna get a lot.
Sorry, wait, hang on.
What?
What was that word? You get it in what?
Typhoon season. In spats.
No,
In spats, like spats. Like spats of it's a word, maybe.
do you mean bouts?
Yeah, but I like spats. Spats is good.
Bats isn't a word. Bouts.
I
You get
just said it. How can it not be a word? I just said it.
no, it isn't a word.
I just said it.
You're
So
known for getting words wrong. It's bouts,
don't know what to tell you then.
not spats. Spat is when you
Anyway,
spit on
so we get
someone.
spats of rain in Taiwan, and it's currently typhoon season. So we're getting a lot of rain, but it'll go. I feel like the winters aren't really, really rainy. It's only this sort of specific period that you're going to get a lot of rain.
Yeah, but the humidity is that like messing up your hair or what's happening?
We're going to have to move on because if I start talking about the humidity, I'm going to get upset. I'm tired of being sweaty. I'm tired of my hair being frizzy. I'm tired of all of it. There's nothing like walking in like hot rain and you're trying to cover yourself up because you're raining. You want to cover your skin, but then you're sweaty underneath, and I cannot talk about the humidity. It's disgusting.
It's funny because I had the weather on my list, obviously, because I feel silly for complaining about the weather here because it is just too hot. It's not as humid, obviously, it's different sort of heat. But rain in particular, I really, really miss. That sounds really dumb, but I do really miss rain because I'm very much a cozy person, a homebody. And I think as well, because we love horror movies, there's nothing better than watching a horror movie in the dark with rain for
Mm.
ambiance.
I know what you mean. Go on, your turn. Your turn.
Okie dokie. So my second one is roast dinners slash Toby Carvery.
That's such a good one.
You reckon?
Well, okay, not Toby Carvery because look, Toby Carvery is really, really cheap. So Toby Carvery is a roast dinner restaurant. That's what,
Restaurant is a stretch.
huh?
Said restaurant is a bit of a stretch.
It is a stretch, and that's why I don't want to eat shitty
Oh,
roast
hey.
Dan.
Oh, come on. There's nothing wrong when you're hungover and you just want that.
No, I never want that when I'm hungover.
Well, this is coming from a vegetarian. Roast dinners for you, in my opinion, aren't the same.
Mhm. That may or may not be true, but there are many aspects of a roast dinner, and meat is just one of them. So I
That
can.
is true because I even find myself thinking that like the stuffing and the like roast potatoes and the Yorkshire pudding is like they're the best parts and the meat obviously, but um but yeah, a roast dinner because even every now and then, I'm not saying I'd have a roast dinner all the time. And by roast dinner, I don't just mean like home cooked, because obviously our mum's roast dinner is you just can't beat it.
I know.
Um, phenomenal. That woman knows how to cook. Um, she'll be watching this as well. So hi, mum.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, mum.
Mummy,
Hi.
with you.
Oh, say mummy.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Um, anyway, yeah, nothing beats that. But like just going to your local pub and getting a roast dinner as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just so good.
I know.
So good.
I know. I could scarf a roast dinner right now, I'll tell you what.
I'm gonna source out because as much as I've been complaining about, oh, I want a roast dinner, I'm missing out, this and that, not once have I attempted to make a roast dinner myself.
Mhm.
And I also haven't sourced out a British pub, which I'm sure I could. But I only want to go so I can critique it and say this is wrong about that and this is wrong. A couple of weeks ago, I did make a whole thing of stuffing for dinner with gravy.
I forgot you do that. That is so strange.
No, I don't do that. Don't make it weird. It's not a thing I do.
It is a thing you do because you've done it more than once and other people don't do it. So it is a thing you do.
What I also used to do is just make a load of Yorkshire puddings, pop them in the oven for like a few minutes, make some gravy, just dip. That's a snack.
I've also never done that.
Why are you missing out? Well, you can't now because you can't get Yorkshire puddings in Taiwan. So I hope you're happy.
Uh, okay. Is it my turn on that
It's your turn.
end? All right. This one might be on your list. I'm guessing it is going to be on your list. Is humor.
Yes.
Knew it was going to
Yes.
be on the list. All right, let's talk about it together then. There is
Okay.
something about British humor that
Yes.
just does not translate.
Mhm.
Anybody who moves abroad figures that out. That some of it just does not translate. I think it's the self-deprecation, the dryness, the sarcasm. It doesn't well, first of all, it doesn't translate across language barriers, but I'm sure
No,
it translates with the Australians either. You've talked about this before.
I have. Do you know what's funny? I generally wrote sarcastic slash self-deprecating sense of humor
Yeah,
is my one.
that's what British people are like. It's just what it's a combination of like all of the culture. You go back to like all of our TV programs, you can see it. It's why people like British TV. It's just what we're like. It's what our humor is like. It's what we're all used to. And then you go abroad and you're like, oh, different cultures have different humor. And that's fine. It's just not what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's also like I think some people either think that I can be very jokey with people and they don't know if I'm joking sometimes because that's part of my delivery because like you said being dry that dry sense of humor is so British. So self-deprecating humor is just not a big thing over here at all and I think it can often people who aren't as exposed to it as often can sometimes be like taken aback by it and be like, they'll feel sorry for me and they'll be like, oh my God. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, that's just how we speak about ourselves because British people tend to be, not everyone, we're not making a generalization, tend to be more on the modest side.
Oh, it's like when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill myself" as a joke, and then someone's like, "Oh, don't say that," and you're like, "I didn't. I'm not. No, hold
Yeah.
on."
And life.
Yeah,
Um confidence it's to do with confidence as well. Confidence levels here, as opposed to back home are just like just two very different things. And I think that's shown in terms of humor for sure. Not that I'm saying that Australians aren't funny. I'm trying to be so like PC and like, because I've got to live here. Um
don't be PC. It's just they're different, and sometimes different. It's hard because like when you're spending time with British people, there's an understanding that just sometimes isn't there.
is it your turn?
No,
Or was
I
that
was the one who brought up humor, so it is your turn.
yeah, okay. My next one is a huge one that is really close to the heart for me. And it's chocolate. That's what I miss. Fucking chocolate.
I
In
know.
particular, nothing in particular in terms of like a specific chocolate bar, just Cadbury's chocolate. Because anyone who's been to Australia, and I'm not talking about Australians because all they've grown up on is their version of chocolate. So they wouldn't know that it's what they're missing out on. I'm
Mm.
talking about anyone who's been to Australia who's not from there. When you taste the chocolate, it's fucking shite. There's no, I genuinely believe there's no cocoa in it. It's all just sugar. That's what it tastes like.
I know.
Sugar. I'm down to two of these big boys.
Ah.
Like
I
just
that there was I keep saying it. There was a spat of time where one of the convenience stores in Taiwan would regularly have Cadbury's bars, the medium-sized ones. I think they were having like an import thing, sometimes the import products, whatever. And I think the recipe was changed, but I still bought it every single time because it's the nostalgia, it's the that little bit of comfort, it's that feeling of like, oh my God, it's British stuff. That's where I'm from. I'm from Britain. And then you buy it and just because it's the nostalgia. So yeah, I would
it
buy it.
is.
I saw it.
It is.
It's the difference between I think a lot of European chocolate and non-European chocolate, especially hot climates, is that they are focused more on being able to preserve it.
Mm.
Needs. So
They
the milk is they do weird shit to the milk, and I
mm.
think because that changes the taste, then they up the sugar content, which changes the flavor. All right, let me get on to my one then.
Yeah.
My one, I don't think is on your list, but you're going to definitely understand. My one is I really miss British drinking culture.
Okay.
Yeah, do you get it? Is it on your
Like
list?
pubs, what are we talking?
We're talking just the way British people drink.
Casually, like with dinner.
Not even just casually, but like pre-drinks, going out, clubbing, getting messy. We're talking getting messy. People don't really do that here. Um, like, okay, look, is it healthier that I don't drink as much here? Obviously. I just miss the messy nights out. I miss seeing people get like silly and drunk and messing around on the dance floor and like doing a bunch of shots and playing drinking games with my friends, pre-drinking, going to a club or a bar and getting too drunk and the silly drunk karaoke. And it's just not the same here. People don't drink alcohol that way, you know?
Really?
Yeah, it's different. It's not like people don't drink. They do, but it's just different. Different cultures interact with alcohol differently. And I miss the messy British night out. I miss
Yeah.
even just getting really drunk in a pub. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I think Australians are known for like they love their drink. So
Hmm.
I don't miss it in terms of that. And I do drink occasionally. Like with dinner, I'll have some wine, and they do go on a lot of nights out and all that. I think it's the pubs thing is different.
Hmm.
Like casually going to a pub, like not every night, but like 3 or 4 times a week isn't a thing that's done here. It's like you
Oh,
go gig or you do nothing. Seltzers are really big over here.
I don't even know what that is.
Seltzer, exactly. Seltzer is like a pre-mixed drink,
Oh,
like White Claw.
oh, okay, okay. I have heard of White Claws. Yeah, I think Taiwan just isn't a country where a lot of people abuse alcohol. Like people just don't go out and get blackout drunk. I've hung out with Taiwanese people before, and it's quite common to get like a big bottle of beer, and then you'll share like glasses about this size. This is the size of like a glass.
Mm.
So you'll share that and you'll drink from these little glasses. And that perfectly encapsulates to me what Taiwanese drinking culture is, how different it is, because you'll have these size beer glasses. And I'm like, who's drinking beer in this amount? Nobody is drinking this amount of beer. No,
I've
that's,
never seen share a beer.
yeah, no, it's very common here. Sharing culture is a big thing here.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. I kind of like that.
Me too, me too. But I do miss the messiness. It's not,
Mm.
yeah, it's just really not. Like there are clubs, it's not on every corner, you know, you're not gonna have a place to drink on every corner, you know?
Yeah. So my last one of note
Mhm.
is something where I think you'll relate to this. I could be right. I haven't really spoken to you about what this is like in Taiwan.
Mhm.
Not paying for doctor's appointments slash prescriptions, just the NHS in general. I miss it. I really miss it. Apart from the fact that just in general, Australian doctors are fucking useless. I'm
Mm.
generalizing this, but in terms of like the ones I've experienced in Adelaide. And because of the visa I'm on, I can't get Medicare, which is basically you get say if your doctor's appointment is $60, which it wouldn't be, it'll probably be more than that. You'll get a rebate of say 30 if you're a citizen. But I'm not, so I don't. So I have to pay everything straight away. And I'm like, it's so alien to have to pay for doctor's appointments. And because I've got asthma, like inhalers, like I've just stockpiled a load of asthma pumps from back home. And I haven't even gone to the doctors here to say that I've got asthma so I can get prescriptions for it because I don't want to pay for that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's really hard flipping from that mindset of being British. And it's like, yeah, why would I pay for this stuff? I pay taxes. It should all be part of a system where if you need healthcare, you can access it without having to pay for it. That makes sense to me because that's how we grow up.
Yeah.
Um, I think Taiwan has a nice middle ground because, yeah, the healthcare isn't free, but it's cheap and it's efficient
Oh,
as well. So,
that's good.
like, I had to get a full health check for every time so I had to have the second one for my second year now of teaching. You have to have a full health check. So that's blood. You have to get weighed, a checkup by the doctor. They check you over. You get a scan. So you get a bunch of things. You have to go to a bunch of different places and get it done. That whole thing cost me £75. And I just walked in and said, hey, can I get this done? And they were like, yeah. So
Mm,
took 2 hours. I walked into the hospital, walked out 2 hours later with the whole thing done.
that's really good. Not with a pre-booked appointment.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So to be honest, I don't, yeah, I have to pay for healthcare here. Like,
Mm,
yes, I do pay for healthcare, but I don't think I have to pay a lot and I feel like it's worth it what I'm paying for, you know?
yeah, I think also we've got to acknowledge the fact that the NHS isn't like that. When you go into A&E, I've waited with my friend
Me,
Chris for like fucking 4 hours
me too.
when he
I've done that
sees
too.
it.
It's
And
terrible.
like the wait lists for if you've got something wrong, you need an X-ray, you need
Yeah.
this, you need that, you need surgery. The wait lists are like years and years long. So as much as I miss not paying, it's not without flaws.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
That was a serious one.
It was a very serious one. But I mean, it's interesting because you don't think about this stuff until you emigrate. You don't really think about different healthcare systems and what it looks like. You know, I did research about my country before I emigrated. So
Oh, I did not.
yeah, yeah, I know you didn't. You just did it on a whim. See, I think things through before I do them. Unlike you.
You.
Yeah, I do. I think, oh, should I make this big life change while being informed, or should I just do it randomly? You know, who's to say?
Oh yeah, yeah, tie your tattoos that.
I don't know what you mean. All of these were months in the brain before they were on the skin.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Miss Patchwork over here.
Yeah, I literally have a fucking tie on me. Like, what is that? Like what like why have I got that?
I feel like you have such a mix though. Some of your tattoos are like really like deep emotional things, and then some of them are like
Not
just for.
really.
Well, I Lied is your favorite band, and it's a very emotional
Yeah.
song. And some of
And
them
it,
are like piano.
well, let's just not forget, I've got your initial on the back of my ear. You can't even probably.
Then I don't forget. It's the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me.
Is it
Hmm. Well, technically, I have your initial too. Oh God, I can't see.
true?
I
That's
got that
true.
done when I was 19, and there is the DAGA. So that's nice for you. So think you're special just because you got a tattoo
Were
from
you good?
years ago. It took you ages.
That was all I had for missing stuff I missed about Wales. What do you have any more?
I put down my loved ones because I actually care about people that aren't myself. Um,
Yeah, can I just say we will like all these trivial things like chocolate, the rain, boots.
mhm.
Like that aside, obviously the number one thing we miss is our loved ones and our family. I find it so hard to be sincere.
I put it on as a joke anyway because when we're talking about things we miss, it goes without saying. You know,
Exactly.
it
That's
does.
saying.
The other thing on my list, more important, Weatherspoons.
Why didn't I put that?
I know, I know. I miss Weatherspoons so much. Although, Dan, did you go to Weatherspoons when you were in Cardiff over the summer?
Of course, I went to Spoons multiple
They
times.
put the prices up.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have. It's not.
Disgusting.
They have. It's not 3 for 12 anymore. It's like 3 for 15.
I thought it was more than that.
I think it's 3 for 18.
Yeah, okay, good. I was gonna say because I'm sorry, the whole point of Weatherspoons is that it is cheap. Otherwise, I will just go to a restaurant. Fuck you. But also, I do love Weatherspoons.
Just to explain, I'm sure everyone knows what Spoons is. Well, it's called Weatherspoons, and it's like a chain of pubs. There's like just dirt cheap, but they are pubs. They're not like a nice restaurant or anything like
Yeah.
that because they're there was a Canadian guy that I knew that thought like Spoons was a restaurant and then was
Oh,
sorely when he came and was like, oh, this is not a restaurant. This is just full of punters and you know.
yeah,
But yeah, we call it Spoons because
just
I
short,
don't know.
shorten it.
We should.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like it's the Spoons when you walk in and your feet get caught on the sticky carpet, and you know, there's just an atmosphere in there.
There's an atmosphere, and also they deliberately the whoever like sources the locations for spoons picks the weirdest buildings. They're always like massive, huge
Yes.
spaces with sprawling staircases and like it's a maze these places are. They're usually quite big spots because they're massive pubs in
Mm.
all across the UK.
Yeah, I think I mean maybe I'm just biased, but Cardiff has some really good spoons.
I think so too. Although I went to Cheltenham and they have spoons with a dance floor.
Oh, okay, maybe they win then.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We didn't stay that long because like we just went for cheap drinks. But I tell you what, when I was younger, spoons to the dance floor. Oh, are you joking? Couldn't have got me out there.
I think the one that I went to in Nottingham was pretty nice as well. Like some of them are in really old, nice historic buildings. And
Right.
you just know you're in spoons as well when you just get like awful service. Like people are glaring at you. The bartenders are just glaring at you. They just shove you the drink. And it's just like, that's home. That's nice. I
Nice.
love that.
All right, let's
Yeah.
move on to things we don't miss about the UK. All right, my first one. Sorry, anybody British who is watching. The first thing I don't miss is British people, and I've put a little asterisk, okay? British people, specifically racists, drunks, creeps, and the specific brand of men, okay? There's a specific brand of British man that does not exist in Taiwan that I do not miss. And I'll tell you what it is. It's the kind of man who is going to say, Britain's full. Why do we keep letting immigrants in? While he's ordering his sixth beer of the day and he is like flirting with the 19-year-old bartender. He's got a big beer belly. He's like loud. He watches the football and you can't drag him out of the pub. That kind of man. All right. That kind of man just does not exist here. And I don't miss him at all. Unpleasant.
That must be nice for you because the reason why I haven't even thought about that is because there's the exact same prototype of that, but just in an Australian font here.
That's so funny because I think that in a lot of English speaking countries, you're going to find differences, but also a lot of similarities. And
Mm,
South Asia, it's just so different. That kind of man just does not exist here. They
mm,
don't exist. It's just not a thing. I'm not saying Taiwanese people are perfect. They're definitely not, but there is quite a strong culture of respect here, respect for one another, and you're not going to find like bleary-eyed drunks and creeps. You just don't find it here. It's kind of surprised me when I went home for the summer. I got reverse culture shock. I went out drinking, and first of all, somebody grabbed my ass, and that was like that
yeah.
would happen to me in Taiwan. But also, like men, creepy men were like leering at me in the pub,
Mm,
and I was like, oh, I'd forgotten about this kind of behavior because it doesn't really happen in Taiwan.
mm.
I had forgotten that that is part of the culture of the UK is creepy men, I would say.
Yeah, the one thing I don't miss now that we're talking about like different types of men, um, is like road men.
I
'Cause
love
it's
road men. What are you talking about? I'm going to put
no, you
that on my
fucking
list
don't.
of things that I miss.
No, you do
I
not. Don't
love
even
a road man. They definitely don't
dab.
make me
Don't.
nervous and scared.
That's what it is. Like if I see a group of like guys in like Adidas tracksuits or Nike tracksuits
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like I don't know wearing like chains or
You
like
know, you know what they look like. You can see them. You can tell.
yeah, just like there's nothing scarier than a group of white guys wearing tracksuits and like hats.
Yeah. There's nothing
Like,
scary than a
across
group of
the
guys.
road. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's not true because I just don't feel Taiwanese men in a group don't make me nervous. It's white guys. It is white guys.
Like, don't get me wrong, they have guys that, or plenty of sorts of like men that I don't wouldn't feel comfortable in Australia, but like not roadmen. They don't have their roadmen equivalent. Um,
Interesting.
it
Do you
is
know,
interesting.
do you know what I think that is noticeable, and you'll probably notice this with Australia, is that Australia doesn't have a class system in the same way that the UK does. I think the UK might be worse. That's something that
Yeah,
the UK is
100%.
quite famous for, is
Mhm.
having a class system. I think it's because we still have a royal family as well, that we have such a strict class system.
Mhm.
And that's why we get roadmen.
Exactly. And I don't miss that. I don't miss it.
Here's something I don't miss is no 24-hour stores. So obviously you can go to Tesco's for 24, like no shops in the UK are open 24 hours. There's a big Tesco that's open 24 hours. But like in Taiwan, if I want to get food at 2 a.m., I'll just go downstairs and go to a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart or any kind of like convenience
Oh,
store that's open 24 hours and it's right at my front door. Any
right.
time of day, Sunday, any day, 24 hours. And same with like their equivalent of like Boots, the closest equivalent that they would have, which is called Watson's, and it's like a makeup or a like drugstore, and that's open until like 11.
That's so interesting that you say that because if anything, I miss the UK for having late hours.
Ah, Australia's even worse.
No, it's not. It's Adelaide because there's nothing going on here and it's a tiny, tiny town. I'm sure like Melbourne and Brisbane, Sydney, like they would have things because it's a popping off city. Like there's nothing, there's literally nothing happening in Adelaide. And
Fucking
like
off city.
I hated that I just said that. Why that came anyway.
Mhm.
Um, like on a Sunday, things closed so early. So yeah, if anything, I miss stores being open later in the UK. I think
Interesting.
we both need to move to like New York or somewhere where it's like no, like it just doesn't sleep. That's my dream anyway.
Yeah, see, I'm not quite as big of a city girl as you are. I don't miss rugby football on culture. I don't miss the rugby football drinking culture, the all lads drinking. I hate that shit. I hate the culture around the football guys and the rugby guys and the way that they behave when the matches happen and the way that they go out drinking and get rowdy. I do not miss that at all. I hate it.
What's the considered the Taiwanese like sport, like national sport?
Let's see. I'm not sure if the national sport would be baseball or
Oh,
basketball. Those are definitely the most popular ones. Baseball, basketball, and badminton is also popular here.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, they're really popular.
Well,
Those three, I would say. Um, but it's just not like that because you don't get rowdy behavior here. It just doesn't happen. You're not going to have people going crazy and go and like rowdy groups of men. It just doesn't happen here. I don't miss that at all.
yeah, again, the reason why I haven't thought about that as something that I don't miss is because we have that here too.
Mhm.
It's just instead of rugby, I mean, people play rugby here, but instead of rugby and football, it's like AFL, which is Australian football. So, like, yeah, it's just the Australian equivalent.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think again, Asia is going to be you've just got a massive culture difference because Asia is
mm,
very, very different to the West. Mm.
yeah.
All right, what else is on my list? Shitty public transport. I've gotten really used to excellent public transport here, and I will really struggle to go back if I go back. This isn't a UK specific thing because London, I'm pretty sure is pretty good, but
Yeah.
Cardiff and Wales, the worst public transport. It's awful. You can always take a U-bike. They're like Boris bikes, in the UK, but they're really good here. They're really
Mhm.
like people actually use them. They're everywhere. They're very reliable. They're really, really cheap. They're free for the first 20 minutes that you use them, and after that, it's like dirt cheap. They're really good here. U-biking is really fun. And if not, then the buses. I don't really like the buses, but the MRT is so good. It's
That's
all
good.
it's just very, very easy to get around and decently cheap as well. All right, I won't dwell on all of my points, but one of the ones I do want to say is uh feeling unsafe on the street. I don't miss that at all. Taiwan is so fucking safe. It is so safe here. Crime is really, really low. I feel safer walking home at 4 a.m. in Taiwan than I do at midday in the UK.
Wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
that says something.
It feels really safe here. Crime is minimal. People just aren't like it's not that Asia is without crime. It's just that it's minimal, I
Mhm.
think. Minimal. Um, I've I just love Taiwan so much. It's such a great country. I can't speak highly enough of it. And it's not no country is without its problems, right? I'm not saying Taiwan is perfect, but I think that it's a really great country to live in. I highly recommend anybody who wants to move. Do your research, see if Taiwan is good for you, because I love it.
I'll have to come visit.
Good. I have one more category that I want to talk about, and it's specific gripes with our country. So mine is specific gripes with Taiwan. And
Mhm.
the one I want to talk about is Taiwan has this thing when they have road work on the side of the road, they put up this creepy like mannequin thing that has arms that moves and it's wearing a high vis vest. So it's a creepy little mannequin and it has arms that move and
Yeah.
it's horrifying. I put up a picture so people can see what it looks like. It is terrifying. When I came here for the first time, I had a genuine nightmare about this thing creeping into my room across the floor and like coming to get me. I hate it, especially if you come across it at nighttime and it's quiet and this thing is just moving its arms. I hate it. I don't know why they do it. It's terrifying. That's my gripe with Taiwan. My only issue. My only issue with Taiwan.
Sure that like happens all the time because there's going to be road work and stuff going on like constantly, I'm sure, because it's a big city.
Hmm. It's
Yeah.
actually, do you know what? It doesn't happen that much because Taiwan has good infrastructure. Like,
Oh,
but when I do come across it, it does scare the shit out of me.
mm.
That's everything I have about the UK. I'm glad we spent like 40 minutes like dabbing on the UK and how much it sucks.
No, I think the majority of that was what we miss.
To be fair, but I really do miss like it's the comforts because when you emigrate, you really do miss those little creature comforts, the things that get you through the day that you just can't have.
I think because we're both creature of habits as well. I just think you do really miss that when you move away. And we're not like obviously we chose to emigrate, so it's different. Um, but yeah, you're right. It's just your home comforts and things that you're used to having every day,
Hmm.
um, that you end up missing. So that was episode 4. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you for the next one where it's presumably going to be more chit chat and random waffle from the two of us.
Yeah,
So yeah, I won't speak to you before then because this is the only time we communicate with each other. So
we don't have a relationship off screen.
we like to keep it minimal.
Yeah. You got to keep the content. Content.
Content is king.
Yeah, content is king. All
Yeah.
right. Bye bye, Dan, and bye bye, everybody watching.
Bye bye. See you in the next one.